Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another very exciting episode of Hidden Realms Season 1, The God Heist. I am your humble game master, Joshua McGregor. With me are Mark Crozier.
Hello, as usual, Alice Fian. Not going to go into details, you've heard it all already.
Antonio Cazar.
Hello, I'm playing the surgeon.
Morgan Hardy.
Hi, I'm playing Thano the Stupid.
James Wilson.
I'm playing Tolton Sparktech.
Neil Hara.
I'm playing What's It Worthless? And everything that comes with his bag of chaos.
And rejoining us back from sick leave is Sasha Ann.
Hello, I am playing Nezumi.
Amazing. Guys, we got a few things to shout out, and then we will get right into the session. Go ahead, take it away.
The first thing to shout out again, as every week, thank you for all frontline working staff and everything that they're doing. Still something very close to all of our hearts. I'd also like to big shout out what we've got. The podcasts, which is now the last week's is now up and that's currently at SoundCloud, but it'll be going live in iTunes and all the other sites next week. Which is, woo! It's always good. I think there's some merchandise that Mark wants to talk about.
Ooh, do I get to sell out? All right.
It might be on his head.
Is it selling out if it's our product?
Yeah, no, it's not selling out.
Well, some of you more observant watchers may notice the wonderful... my camera's mirrored, so I'm trying to find the right direction to turn. The beautiful pin on my my hat. Wonderful Hidden Realms badge can be found and purchased on our Redbubble. Alongside that, some of you will have seen on our various social medias the beautiful new vinyl stickers. My camera doesn't want to show them. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
There we go. And stay tuned to find out how you can win one of these bad boys. Beyond that, we also have journals. So I will be taking notes for the session in one of these. Again, also found and available on our Redbubble. And along with much more. Everything from the weirdest stuff, such as bath mats, right up to t-shirts and everything in between. So,
we're going to be wearing those t-shirts very soon.
If anyone buys anything and they receive it, take a picture, post it on our Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that. We'll give you a shout out.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Do we want to, while we're on the topic of, I had alluded to how you can win one of these stickers. Do we want to mention that now?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Sounds good.
Some of you will have seen, again, on our various social medias, that we're running a small competition at the moment. Essentially, all you have to do is be subscribed to us on YouTube and like, share, whatever else, on whatever social media you see us on. The most important thing is being subscribed on YouTube. That will enter you into the competition. And once we reach 100 subscribers, we will pick one of our subscribers at random to not only get one of these beautiful vinyl stickers, but create a NPC that will be played by our wonderful Joshua as an NPC in Vulpikar.
Absolutely, yeah. So whatever your creation will have will be part of the story, will be part of the world, and these guys will have the chance to do whatever it is they do to people.
Take him out and play with him.
Give him a special cuddle.
Yeah, cuddles. What's it, cuddles?
Anything else we want to shout out before we get into it? Okay, so last time on the God Heist, first of all, you guys had a lovely conversation with Sophia Armstrong. She told you a lot about the a world of Volpikar, about the Grey Orthodoxy, who are the controlling government who help distribute goods to everybody who needs them. The people of Volpikar do not use coinage. It is run by 5 exalted wardens who were archwizards who helped to seal away 2 opposing gods of destruction, one of darkness and one of light, Darafel and Seriphiel. She also created armbands for all of you that would help hide you from the faceless hunter, and you guys went about your various days. Alice Vane and Watsit got up to some shenanigans on the way to the forge, where Watsit channeled divinity to create a dagger.
Oops. These people and their silly gods.
It may have been that triggered some very bad things that happened later in the episode. Tolton investigated the Faceless Hunter a bit, joined them. The surgeon and Thano went into the woods to help set the stage for whatever investigators would come from the Orthodoxy. The surgeon finding a black sword with the insignia of Darafel on it.
Went straight in my basket.
There you go. And they returned to town to find the Faceless Hunter had moved off, was moving off towards Watsit and Alice Vane, and a person of a race they did not know, who introduced themselves as Valakal, imprisoned them. The others were subsequently trapped with bindings of Henua and some other members of the Grey Orthodoxy who came through a portal. And the last thing that happened was that Valakal, at the behest of Henua, walked over to Tolton Spartek's machine familiar Bessie and destroyed her, turned her off.
Is it?
And that is where we would be now. But first, we got to catch up with Nezumi. So we're going to start right in. Nezumi, for your character, I made the call that she would spend some of her afternoon with Caleb upstairs while you were away last week. How do you think that time went?
Good, I hope.
Yeah, well, the kids, would play around and are having a great time. Caleb showing off his little coin with the hologram on it. Absolutely adores his present, but very eager as well, always to try to include you in what he was doing. There's a little elf girl, Andra, who is a little bit jealous of how much attention he is giving to you because he likes you so much. And so she gets a little furrow in her brow and she looks at you. Dead eye.
Well, at this point, I'd probably be a little bit more familiar with them, and considering they're kids, I probably wouldn't be as threatened, especially since I'm like basically the same size as them. So I'd probably start to like warm up to her and try like see those side eyes and try and include her into it as well and be like, oh look, hey.
Go ahead and roll me persuasion for this little elf girl.
Unnatural 21.
Yeah, this kid loves you.
How could you not love a giant mouse?
Nobody can.
Absolutely.
Everybody loves the giant mouse. At a certain point, Sophia comes up and everybody eats. You get helped. You are treated to a meal with all of the kids. Everybody loves you. She tells you that the others have gone out to do various bits and bobs. And later in the evening, they're going to go to the Welcome Tankard for a meal and see about potentially where you're going to go. There's a manta rider who might take you somewhere. So yeah, anything else that you would like to happen in your afternoon?
I would like to take some of my food from dinner and put it in my pocket.
You got food in your pocket.
And that's it.
Alrighty.
I just take some of my own food and then that.
Fantastic. At a certain point in the afternoon, there we go. At a certain point in the afternoon, the door opens with a crash, and up the stairs run Willow the elf and Karen the furbolg, and they run over to Sophia, and they're fully within range of everybody, and Karen says, there's an inquisitor. There's an inquisitor coming. They're outside right now. Sophia runs over to Caleb, and says, "Flare your key now." He looks around. He's like, "You said not in front of everyone." Says, "You have to do it now, Caleb." You see erupting from Caleb, from centering in his chest, light pours out of his body, creating the outline of angelic wings coming out of his back and wreathing him in a corona of light. Everyone else, all the other kids, look completely shocked that this has happened. Willow and Karen haven't seen this before either. Look not surprised that it's happening, but just like in awe that this has happened. Sophia turns to you, Nezumi, and says, This is bad. The Orthodoxy are here far earlier than I thought." Karen jumps in. It's worse than that. The surgeon and Thano have been taken outside. We saw it just now.
I have no idea what's going on.
These people keep talking. Sophia says, the surgeon has been taken? Do they know that he's a tiefling? Karen says, his mask wasn't off, but it was a Dreltar Inquisitor. She's going to find out. She looks at you, looks at Willow and Karen, and says, "Okay, I don't know what to do." Willow runs. Willow calls back after herself. She says, I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do, but Karen's like, "Okay, damn it. Nezumi, are you coming?"
Where are we going?
We're going to try to find out what's going on, I guess.
Sure, I can scout on up ahead.
If you can take the roofs with Willow, I'll take the ground. We'll try to follow them. If you guys run out of the Moral Arms, run down the street. You guys, they seem to know where they're going, towards the forge would be. And you go along the rooftops. Can you give me an acrobatics check?
Uh, 16.
16, yeah, for sure. You can go along the rooftops to get over there. You kind of have, like, you were kind of doing this last night. You and Willow were running together along the along the tree bridges, and now you guys are running along the rooftops together. She's got an arrow. ready to go. Yeah, she's like, hey, you know, this is terrible news, but this, you know, it's fun to. This is cool. Nobody else does this with me. So you guys run to where the forge is and see the scene set before you. 7 mages, one with tassels that glow with a blue light and a straight staff with spear tips. 6 members of her coterie around her. And the Dreltar woman, Vala Kal, with a very squat head, no eyes, kitted out with leather gear. All of the other members of the party have been some kind of mechanism wraps around their legs, wraps around their arms, keeps their hands tied, and covers their mouths, with the exception of Thano and Antonio. Thano and the surgeon, which is where we left it off last time. And you arrive, walls of sand and grease spells that were surrounding them fall. Bessie, the light goes out in Bessie's eyes. And I'm just going to switch over to something sufficient for this. All right, so here we are. Surgeon, your mask is still covering your face. Your mouth is free. Thano, your mouth is free. But I think we have to start with Tolton. Tolton, your familiar, who you created yourself. First of its kind on Sygalia. Yeah. What's going through your mind?
Not happy at all. Very, very angry. Obviously, the things over. It doesn't cover eyes, just mouth. Yeah. It
doesn't cover eyes, just your mouth.
Just your mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you know how when somebody gets that angry, you know, they get so angry, the color almost changes in their skin. That's what he would be like at the moment. He would be absolutely fuming. You would hear all kinds of muffled noises coming from the other side of that gag, for want of a better expression, at the moment, and he would be fighting to try and break free. Obviously, he's not got the strength to do so. But he
if you would like to make a check, everybody can make. So the check is a DC 20 strength check, and if you fail it, you cannot get out for another 24 hours.
Right.
But
okay.
if we
can't move at all, can we? We're basically trussed up.
You're trussed up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've already done my roll, so I can't.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a go anyway.
That's right.
I'm not rolling to get out.
I can't.
You're not rolling to get out. No. Tolton can't for the next 24 hours.
Yep.
Nezumi, this is all of the people you came with, not necessarily your friends, but the people you arrived with, are all being captured, and this mage taps your stuff on the ground. Everyone is lifted by an unseen force, so they are upright, not lying on the ground, and brought closer together. You see that there is a magic circle on the ground and a faceless hunter in front of it.
Okay, so who all is in and around? It's the surgeon, Thano, and Tolton?
And What's It, and Alice Fane.
Oh, they're all captured?
Everyone is captured.
Okay, well, okay.
I'd said it's quite obvious from what else has happened, because there was combat that had actually happened prior to this. It would be obvious that would have happened as well, because there were wounds on some of the mages and things like that.
Yeah, so one mage has been wounded. You see a couple of them help to get a bolt out of her side.
There wouldn't be a bolt. There wouldn't be a bolt.
Oh, right,
they
because
disappear
it's
as soon as it does the damage. It fades.
So they'd be helping to wrap up a bolt-sized hole in her side. You see Watsit and Alice Fane look a little bit worse for wear. They look like they got beaten up a little bit. But mostly people don't look like they're bleeding, like they're injured in that way. Willow is beside you. She's got an arrow on the string, but not drawn. And she just whispers to you, she goes, I don't think there's anything we can do here. These are the Grey Orthodoxy. That's a high warden in charge of one of the floating islands. Like, if these people are taking your friends, I'm so sorry. I don't think there's anything we can do.
I have no idea anything about what you're saying. I don't know who these people are, any of them.
You don't know who the people you were running with last night are?
No.
Oh, well, that's different. Well.
But I think maybe I could sneak in and maybe untie some people.
So you see the way this is set up. There's a house with a forge kind of outside, and on a crossroads of two streets. So there's quite a lot of room around this house, but it's still in an urban area. All of the common people citizenry have cleared off. Do not want to interfere with Orthodoxy business or get in the middle of a battle. So there is room for something to happen, but there's not a lot of time if you did want to get in there.
I quickly but quietly scamper to try
Try
and like get in there without being seen.
You're trying not to be seen. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, please. This person is going to contest with their perception. That's not great.
A natural 20.
Okay. So you scamper down this building. You start to approach. Everybody. I'm going to make another check now for something else. No, so these people aren't looking especially. They're kind of talking to one another, getting some logistics out of the way. They're not really patting you down or anything in terms of what you guys have on you. One of these people can read surface level thoughts. So going around, I'm going to need just a general idea of what people are feeling, what people are thinking. Tolton, we've kind of done you.
Yeah, seething anger and hatred at the moment for me.
Seething anger and hatred, yeah.
I will get my hands around your neck.
Volakal knows that you think that about her. Let's do what's it? What's going through what's its head?
Got a mixture of annoyance, anger, and irritation because he knows he's got a really big bogey up his nose and he can't get to it because his hand's tied, isn't it? So he's kind of sort of concentrating on that. It's really annoying.
Not the chickens, mate. Not the chickens.
Yeah. So that's pretty much
cool.
it. So there's anger in there about his, the fact that he's kind of sort of worried as well, but is internalizing that and using that as anger at the moment.
Thano, what's going on with you?
Obviously frustration and confusion of kind of, we'd been sent to this place sort of almost without choice, being attacked, and now we're getting arrested. So just, yeah.
It's been a whirlwind.
Yeah. And obviously, he doesn't want to give anything away in his mind.
You wouldn't be aware. You wouldn't be aware that this.
No, but I'm just saying he plays with that stupid kind of, yeah. Doesn't think through far enough.
Cool. Alice Fane?
So there'll just be the sort of sense of almost fear in his mind, and just the words, I'll go on my terms. I won't go like my father. Just repeating over and over.
Very interesting. And Surgeon?
He'll be quite agitated. I think he'll probably want to know what's going to happen next. At the same time, he's quite calm and he's quite excited.
Quite calm, quite excited. Once again, this Vala, this Dreltar woman, this long tongue, flicks out of her mouth for a second, tastes the air, looks over at Surgeon with a little smile. The others, including Henwa, who's again this tall, blue-skinned, bald woman, speak in a language you do not understand to one another, and then Henwa says a few words to the faceless hunter, which you do not understand. At her behest, or so it seems, the faceless hunter's face returns to its usual mannequin-like blankness. It walks forward into the circle of runes and fades and is gone. She is then going to walk over to Tolton. Walks over to Tolton, puts her head right next to your ear, and she says, just a moment ago, I said how much I didn't want to do this. I lied. Doesn't give anything away on her face, just a very calm expression looking at you. Mm-hmm. Turns back to the others and says something again in a language you don't understand. Nezumi, this is your slot to make a move. These people look like they are getting ready to go into this teleportation circle with these fellow Sygalians, I'll call them.
Companions.
Traveling
companions. Okay, well, as soon as I see my spot, I go for the person who is closest, but also looks like the least people are looking at them.
Okay. This is going to be straight luck. We're gonna roll a d6. I'll sign who these people are in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the closest person is the surgeon.
At least it's not Alice Fane.
What exactly are you trying to do? You have not yet been seen.
Like they're tied up, aren't they?
So, they are bound with a mechanical device that is designed to wrap around somebody and keep them from moving and casting spells specifically. For anybody who's interested, I think they're called iron bands of holding, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I take it thieves' tools aren't gonna be much help.
Could try.
If you, oh man. Undoing these is going to be a DC 22 thieves' tools check. If you want to make that roll, you are more than welcome to do so.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Is there any way to sort of slip them off?
No, there's no way to slip off the bindings.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. The options aren't particularly good here.
No.
You can let them go. You can try to make this check. You can potentially try to follow them through this circle. Not that I'm trying to feed you options here, but
so trying to cut them off probably isn't going to do much either.
They're made of metal.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Thieves' tools.
You gonna try?
Do it.
Go ahead and make the roll.
Okay.
So what do you add to this roll with thieves' tools?
I have no idea. I don't play a rogue that often.
Well, you're gonna have proficiency.
Yeah, so it's your proficiency bonus plus your dex.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay. Ooh, math. I can't do it. 6 plus 7. 16 plus 7, I mean.
16 plus 7.
That's 23.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Can't do math. Sorry, I'm too gay for this.
Do I notice?
Oh, yes. So you don't notice anybody sneak up, but you feel something on click. You work with your thieves' tools at the back of this, and you can see where there would be a central mechanism that is spread out to capture this person. And you do a little and know that there's this is still wrapped around, but not binding. You can slip it off at any point.
Okay, I'm gonna have a sudden almost. I'm still continue to be excited, and I'm probably a little bit more agitated. I think that's just my thoughts, and I'm going to keep my hands behind my back, not doing anything yet. I'm just looking around, making sure what and I'm also going to try and take a couple steps forward.
You are going to try to take a couple steps forward.
Very small steps.
Are you not sitting, or are you all standing?
No. Everyone has been propelled up so that they are standing.
Oh, okay. If that's the case, then yeah, I'll take a couple steps forward, just to
wiggle. Okay, Nezumi, have you backed off at this point?
I'll probably be going to the next person that sort of seems like they're not being watched, and
everybody. It looks like everyone is being watched, so anything else will need another stealth check. And actually, what we're gonna do is you and me, Nezumi, we're gonna roll initiative off of each other.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Test initiative. Here we go.
Should I do the stealth check first, or
no? Initiative first.
Okay. Oh baby. Initiative?
Yeah.
That's plus dex, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, it's a 21.
Woo!
Unnatural.
I got an unnatural 20, and you beat me out by 1 second. All right.
I can confirm these rolls are legit.
Insane. This is insane. Go ahead. You can make it to one other person before people start disappearing into the teleportation circle. Yeah, so you can take your pick of anybody else, but you'll have to make a stealth roll to do this. Who is closest to you after Thano?
Okay, I will roll a stealth check then and try to get to Thano.
Okay.
Stealth, yeah?
Stealth, yeah.
Ooh, it's 26. I rolled a 19 and I've got a +7, so...
What in the honest to God hell is happening?
I swear to God. I swear to God.
Seriously.
It's these new dice.
You last week.
Oh my goodness me! All right,
This is
you make
legit.
it to Thano. Go ahead. You are so small that you are managing to hide like behind his actual body mass. The only reason
Thing that I can do that is a feat of being a rat folk. Any creature bigger than me, I can hide behind them as if under full cover.
it works mechanically as well as story-wise. Hey.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll me the Thieves' Tool check. This is once again a DC 22.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I got a 3.
Doesn't she get advantage because she knows how to do it now?
You don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
You fiddle with the locks, but as you're doing so, Thano is moved forward, and he is brought within the teleportation ring. Thano, you are gone. Nezumi, you, I'm going to say that you can, because your rolls are so ridiculous, you can go ahead and you can be out of there in time that nobody will see you.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna jump on to the next person as soon as he moves.
Okay. All right. You're going to jump on to the next person. Before you can do anything, I already did that. Alice Fane goes through the portal. So you have options.
Good.
Watsit, Tolton, and Tolton are the only ones who have not been unlocked.
I'm gonna go for Watsit. Sorry, Tolton.
Go for Watsit. Go ahead and roll me stealth. Oh, no.
The luck ran out.
Is that a 1?
Ooh. Yes.
It's a natural one.
It's a natural 1.
That's a natural.
You get a +7 to stealth, so
natural one's a natural one.
Still a nat one.
To be fair, what you have already accomplished is insane. It's
Yes.
absolutely incredible.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's amazing. Thano goes. You start to move over to Watsit. Every single mage sees you. One of them has gone through with each of the people who's gone through already. So, 2 of the coterie have gone through already. So there are 4 coterie members, Henoa and Valakal. All 5 of the mages see you. Vala doesn't move from wherever she is. She doesn't see with eyeballs. And they are all going to roll a spell in reaction. Go ahead. I'm not even going to make you roll because this is insane. Your muscles seize as though you cannot move. You've been affected by a whole bunch of spells, and one of them throws an iron band at you, and you are captured.
Can I speak or?
You can't. There's a clamp that goes over your mouth. Henoa says to the others, this is in common. Just says, take these other ones through. I'll deal with this. Tolton, you are taken through. Watsit, you are taken through. Surgeon, you have the option of not.
I'm going in willingly.
You go in willingly.
Yes.
You'll go through. Henoa and 1 member of a coterie, Rima, are left. Henoa
We need to know their weaknesses. That's what it is.
Sorry?
We need to know their weaknesses.
Need to know their weaknesses. And that goes through your head? That's
no,
your thinking?
Agitation and excitement goes through my head.
Fair enough. Okay, your mouth is uncovered, Nezumi, and you can speak. And Hanwa says, "Now, what is one of the underfolk doing here in Balmoral?"
Squeak.
What were you trying to do with these people?
Squeak.
These known heretics. Would you... Everyone knows that Fine.
I act like a mouse, I try to scamper.
You are bound. You cannot scamper. Somebody walks up. And you can't really turn your head, but in your corner of your eye, you can see that this is Karen. This is the Furbolg Karen. Karen bows very low before Henua and says, "Most High Warden, what an honor it is to have you here in our town. Please forgive my friend here, Nezumi. Sophia brought her in as a special educator for the children at the Moral Arms." Nezumi, you came from. Tell them how you came from. How you came from Kalibke to join us.
That's right.
Anna says, "What were you doing with my prisoners, Nezumi?"
I was just going for a stroll, and then I saw all this happening, and I decided to watch.
Go ahead and roll me deception against insight. You don't have to beat very much. You got to beat a 14.
I got a 7.
She says to Karen, clearly there has been some sort of misunderstanding between us. Don't worry. We won't keep her more than an evening. We just want to get some questions from her, and we'll return her to you shortly thereafter.
I'm just a mouse. I don't know anything about what's going on.
Doesn't look at you, just eyeballs Karen. Karen doesn't know what to do, looks to you for any kind of guidance.
Just look at her.
You just look at her. Karen says, of course, I would never contest the will of a High Warden of the Orthodoxy. Our Reeve, Sophia Armstrong, would be most disappointed to know that somebody who is so good with the children will not be with her to give her some relief and much needed respite this evening. Perhaps we could take this up. We could hold her and take this up with Breniel Amakir. Hanawa says, Breniel is busy at the moment with far more important matters than this. I can handle it.
The kids, they really love my tale. I really should get back to them.
I'm sure they do, little mouse. I'm sure they do. She snaps her fingers. Rima grabs you and brings you over to the teleportation circle, and you're gone. Everybody went through. Okay.
God damn.
There we go.
TPK.
Not
Everybody here. So here we go. Everybody who steps through the teleportation circle feels a lurch, and the scenery around them shifts. You find yourselves. Hold on, just a second. You all find yourselves in a what feels like a kind of a natural cavern, flow stone. This stone that looks like it has grown naturally, lies flat at your feet and kind of has grown up into the walls and the ceiling. The air is oppressive in here, not in a humid way, not in the sense of humidity, but it feels like gravity is more intense here. You can feel it is a more concerted effort necessary to do anything, to walk, to talk, to even breathe. This is even people who are not mages can feel how much magic is in this place. And as you're brought forward, this is you're kind of in this quite large chamber. As you're brought forward and out through a natural arch, natural doorway without a door in it, you enter a corridor which kind of is open on one wall to a sort of enormous atrium. And you can see the corridor that you're on rings this enormous cylindrical space in the center of where you are. And in that space flows a constant stream of magic. This is just pillars and a stream as though going upward instead of downward as gravity, of white light with flecks of various other colors, kind of like an opal, that shimmer within their threads, going up. And you can see that this extends a few floors below you and many, many floors above you. And above you, you're looking up at a place where these threads of magic break apart and weave around an area in the center and then continue on their way back up. You are all brought forward. There are many people at work on the various floors. You can see rushing around. There are people in the Grey Orthodoxy clothes. You can see some sentries walking about who are wearing full plate mail, carry shields and swords at their sides. These people are also in just plain gray armor, seem to be part of the Orthodoxy as well. Below, at the base where the stream is, you can see several robed figures with shaved heads of a few different races are chanting and seem to be doing something related to these streams that come out of the earth. And a few floors above that, there are gnomes. You can see people working machinery and going about their work, have created several mechanical rings around various streams, which seem to be guiding their paths. All of this you see as you are marched along this corridor, and then you go up a level, and all of you are marched along the next level, and then up another level. And this seems to go on for a very, very long time. the open sky above you gets larger and larger. When you've gone up about 5 floors. Henoa calls for a stop. Some guards approach each of you and begin to take your weaponry away. They begin to pat you down. What's it? Sorry.
Is we haven't got a gag on anymore?
No. I'm gonna say none of you have a gag on anymore.
The person that comes over and takes my weapon, I'm gonna go. I've got a small favor to ask.
What is that?
It's really important, and it's really, really important. I just draw them in, and I'll go. 2 things. 1, look after that, because if you lose it, you're going to regret it. And secondly, can you get rid of this bogey at my nose? It's really doing my head in.
This person actually laughs. He finds the humor in it.
Yeah. And he goes, good. Find that funny. As I'm good, as if I get it, Thano gets it. I'm gonna stick this foot so far up your ear that I'm gonna play a tune from your tonsils with my toes. But anyway, see you later.
This person, you say that, he says,
I'm attempting to intimidate, actually.
You want to roll intimidation roll? Go ahead, roll with disadvantage.
Yeah.
You are in chains. Not in chains. You know what I mean.
It was a natural 20.
Ooh.
With disadvantage?
Oh, no. Sorry, it wasn't with disadvantage.
Oh.
Sorry, it was 17.
17.
Still
I was
good.
like, if you rolled 2 nat 20s in a row.
Oh, no.
17. This person doesn't seem to be afraid of you, but he stops laughing and he looks at you. And he says, whether you be a heretic or no, from one warrior to another, I can assure you that your weaponry and your armor will be well looked after.
Good.
While we were walking through,
yes,
just being nosy at these people that were doing different things, especially the gnomes that were creating and everything else, did it look like any of them were there against their own volition?
No, it didn't.
They were all there willingly, happily doing whatever they were doing.
Well, it looked like they were at work. They were,
okay.
Yeah.
So none of them were there that sort of against their will. There was no obvious guards going, come on, keep moving, blah, 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 or anything like that.
Nobody you've seen seems to be a slave
Okay.
or indentured in any way. One of the things that I did forget to mention, you see some of these people have mechanical companions of their own, but they do seem to be more humanoid.
Right.
Some of them have an extra appendage. All of them have various tools that they whip out whenever they need to as they work on these rings. But nobody is a slave.
Right.
I would like to say that whenever they come to get my stuff, I bare my little mouse teeth at them.
You bare your mouse teeth at them. These people are grim-faced professionals. Wearing metal armor. They do not bulk at your teeth.
Are they taking everything?
They are taking all armor and weapons. Actually,
Right.
no, there's and items as well. Yeah, you are left in plain clothes essentially.
Okay.
Can I bite one of them as they
You
go
may-
to take my stuff?
You can make me an attack roll with disadvantage, sure.
I'm gonna need a shot afterwards.
They get poisoned.
That's a 2.
Ah.
Nice.
Well, you try to bite this person's hand, and it got thick cloth over their fingers and chainmail over their actual hands and wrists. So, unfortunately, attempts to resist do not work. Surgeon, they come over to you.
Okay.
One of them says, the bindings on this one have come loose. Bunch of them draw swords, surround you.
I've come in here willingly without even knowing.
One takes off the bindings that no longer bind you. Another one slams another one into you.
Fair enough.
That is fresh. They proceed to take away your arcane focus. They take away any other items that you have conducive to battle. One of them goes to take off your mask. Volakal steps in front of him and says, for this man from the culture of his world, taking off the mask is the greatest indecency. It is an offense worse than death. It is to defecate on the soul of your enemy to take their mask off. You will leave this man.
Thank you for appreciating my culture.
Hanua looks at Vala and says, why do we care again? Why do we care about their culture? And Hanua and Vala Call just said, you remember your explicit instructions from the Exalted Wardens? You remember what Immoral says? She thinks about it, decides not to challenge it. Your mask is left on your face. Everybody is marched further up. You get to a place where you are level with this place where these streams spiral and then reconverge at the top, and you can see between the streams what is inside. Anybody who wants to can make me a religion check.
Oh, that was high.
12.
That's a 25, not natural.
25.
15 for me.
20.
Yeah. 19. Is me?
Nezumi probably wouldn't do one because she's not really involved in religion. So.
Cool. Everybody else would be able to see. There is. So, Nezumi, what you see is there's an old, what looks like to be an old man, but a giant, 20-foot tall human man with gray hair and a gray beard, long robes, who is in, not particularly brawny, who's in the center of this, this cage, as it were. But the rest of you can see this is Pelor. This is the manifestation of the god of the sun and of harvests, somebody who means a lot of good for the people of Sygalia, and who came here ostensibly to help build relations with the Vulpicarians. This is where they're keeping him. You're here. This is the prison.
Nailed it.
Probably should have done that religion check.
You are all brought. There's a platform that is kind of like a balcony that goes closer to where Pelor is. Hanoa leads all of you forward, and you all look up at where Pelor is.
Okay, does he look like he's alive, moving?
He does look alive. You can see he's taking very long, slow breaths. Eyes closed, head slightly bowed. It doesn't look like he's in chains or anything like that.
Does this look, these rivers and everything else that are flowing around, do they look like they're, or does it look like he's being sort of drained almost? Does he look like he's aged, or do you know what I mean? Like he's, just basically like he's drained, like he's been going through some sort of heavy, strenuous labour or something like that, or even, you know, physically exhausted.
He does look physically exhausted. The from what you can't see from what the cage, from what you see of the cage, it's not clear if the cage is responsible for draining him at all. He still looks like a very mighty figure and radiates.
He doesn't look radiant as he should do. Is what I mean.
He looks tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shout out, "Oi, Pally!"
You don't immediately get a response.
Don't ignore me, Pelor. I see you.
Well, okay. In Celestial, then, because I can speak that. In Celestial, I'm going to call his name and ask him how he is. What's happening to him?
Immediately, one of the guards takes you by the scruff of the neck, slams your face into the concrete.
Ow.
You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And they don't offer an explanation for why they did that.
I'm just going to look. I'm going to look over my shoulder, twist my head, and go, "Your face has just made it on the list as well."
And I'll tense up a little bit and sort of chug at the chains, you know, and sort of digging my heels in. And
you guys are not happy. Pelor opens his eyes. He's kind of in profile to you guys. He's sort of like this. He turns his head, looks at where all of you are.
And I'll say, "It's your lucky day. Grumsh sent me." Your lucky
Can I kick
day.
him?
You cannot kick him.
No.
You look at this god, looks tired, worn out, looks at you. Very clearly eyeballs the fact that you're in chains. Just goes, little nod.
Guys, it's a minor setback. I'm here because I want to be here. Don't worry about this.
We're not with him.
Looks around at all of you. Little sigh. Little smile.
Just nod.
See, who
and
is
then
this guy?
very suddenly raises a fist, slams it into the side of his cage with an enormous amount of force. This boom sound rings through this atrium. All of reverberates in the ground. You can all feel the vibrations in your skulls and in your lungs and in your bodies as he slams his fist into the side of this cage once, twice, 3 times. People are trying to hold their hands over their ears. Several mages cast something. Little bubbles of light appear around you, and you can no longer feel the tremors or hear anything. Henua starts to say something you can't make out because this sphere of silence that you are in spits in the direction of Pelor, who continues to beat on his cage. He digs in his fingers and tries to pull apart the streams of magic that hold him. Even as he's doing that, people are working. You see down below these mages at the very bottom rush to an empty patch of ground, slam their palms into the ground. Light bursts from their chests. A new stream of light shoots up. Some of these rings that were controlling some of the other ones break apart. 3 of them go together. The stream goes through these 3 rings that the gnomes, these artificers, have created. Shoots up, joins the cage, and even as he's renting 2 of these apart, another one shoots up in between, and he cannot break free. The 6 of you are led away from this scene. Eventually, the shaking stops. The spheres are lifted. You can all hear again. You are led up another few floors and are separated from one another. Alice Fane, you are put into a cell that is the same kind of flow stone, smooth walls all around, and an empty space where a door would be. Some people go to work. Little streams of light create bars across the door. Same thing happens subsequently to Tolton and the surgeon and Thano and Nezumi. Around the same corridored ring, you can see further away where people have been put into chambers. The light gets in the way, so certain people are obscured, and it is a little distance. It's a good distance between one side of the corridor and the other side that reaches around this cylinder. Watson, you are taken up another level. Watson and Thano are taken up another level and put into cells opposite one another. So there are 4 of you on one ring, 2 of you on the ring above. Okay. And all of your physical restraints are removed when you are put into these cells. So you are now physically free, but you are in a sort of a 10 by 20 foot cell. There's a little bit of room in there.
First thing I'll do is get rid of this bogey in my nose.
You get rid of the bogey in your nose. The guard who's outside hears you getting rid of this bogey, looks inside, regrets it.
He says it's a big one. It's tasty if you want some.
You don't respond.
Is it possible for me to try and sneak out behind the person that just put me in the cage?
There are shoots of light up. I'm going to say you guys could have tried to do all kinds of stuff, but these people have managed to get you in your cells, and these little streams of light have created bars to your door. Henua and the others of her coterie make their way somewhere you don't know where they go. Valakal is also gone, and you guys are in prison.
I'm going to cast Thaumaturgy of Ominous Whispers on the left-hand side. Does it work?
It does not work.
Right, that answers my question.
Yep.
Can I touch the light?
You can touch the light, yes.
Can I walk through it?
No, in fact, you take 11 points of damage, radiant damage, when you touch the light.
I'm done.
You are down. The guard who was assigned to you sees that you touched the bars. Your hands are smoking and blackened. You're on the ground, unconscious.
Would I have healed up before? Because I was on 7.
Yes.
So you would. Yes, you would.
Slept. We'd slept.
You
So
had
you'll be
the
alright.
benefits of a long rest.
Okay, then I'm fine.
Then you're fine. Alrighty. Fantastic. So yeah, you touched the lights. They burn and hurt an awful lot, and you cannot pass through them. Even smaller in size, as you and Tolton are, these bars are too thin to go through.
Is there anything else in the room with us?
No. There's a mattress
Fancy.
on the floor. Thin, no cot, just the mattress on there.
Right, okay.
There's a pillow. It's quite
Fancy.
warm in here.
Okay.
So no need for blankets or anything. And of course, the necessary bucket in the corner.
I have some ball bearings. Can I?
I'm sorry to interrupt. You do not have ball bearings.
Yeah, yep.
Right. Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me.
And we're all in these rooms individually, aren't we?
You are individual.
else.
You are cut off from one another. There's no one else with you.
Okay.
Actually, as you are put in, so the process of putting these lights up, everybody would be able to see this. One of these mages or guards would have come up with a little metal slate with some runes on it.
Mm-hmm.
They would then have channeled magic through this plate. The runes would have glown green.
Can I make a
swirled
mental
out.
note of these runes, what they look like, please?
Yeah, these are you were making a mental note of the runes that came out of the Faceless Hunter as well.
Yeah.
These are similar,
Right,
of
okay.
the same alphabet
Yeah.
as those. They would have lined the doorway to the cells, and from there, streams of light would come up. These people take those metal plates and put them somewhere on their person and walk away. So, you guys spend the first 2-3 hours in isolation. No attempt to talk to anybody is fruitful.
I will be singing the most annoying songs that I can get in my voice, and it will just be constant. It's a half orc equivalent of I know a song that can get on your nerves, get on your nerves, get on your nerves.
His bellowing voice, does it carry? Can we hear it?
At first, you can't make out the words. It's a little bit too far away for that, but you can definitely hear the overtones of a voice that is clearly wants it, echoing through this space. You guys are a floor below where what's it is. You see a few people in robes, kind of doing this and looking very agitated, rush past your cells up. These would be like gradual ramps that go up to the next floors. They rush up. One of them takes out so this is Watson. You would see this. One of them takes out a thin rod, kind of like a wand. Takes it and very deliberately draws a series of runes in the air where the stylus has been carved into the air, green runes remain. When the runes are drawn, they pocket the stylus. The runes go and layer the ones that are already in front of your cell, and your voice, you can still sing. Your voice no longer carries outside of your cell.
What's going through his head is that's a win.
Yeah,
you know?
These people looked upset.
Yeah, that's a win. So he's trying his own mind games because
fantastic.
It's little wins.
You should say that. Just a couple of things I want to do.
Yeah.
When these beams appeared, were there holes in the floor that they came through? Did they just materialize, or
almost like plants shooting up out of the ground? They.
So there was. Yeah, when we stepped across, there was no obvious holes or anything for this beam to travel through or anything like that.
Nope.
Okay. All right then. Cool.
Yep.
Obviously, over this time, one would have relieved oneself into the, as you put it. I'm gonna just put just little bits. I'm gonna pour that around the edge. So once it reaches the this beam, what happens?
What does happen? I'm gonna roll a d20 and see what that informs. You see, it doesn't seem to affect the liquid very much. It maybe heats it a little bit.
Does it bubble or steam?
Yeah, it starts to bubble and very gently steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, that was just a little bit of it. I'm gonna try and see if I can I throw it either side of that beam so that it goes outside?
Yes, it does.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Obviously, I'm just little, literally little, the smallest amounts possible. I'm not trying to, throw it all out there or anything like that. Does that invoke a reaction at all? I'm not trying to get anybody with it. I just want to point out.
No.
Okay. Good. All right.
No reaction.
I have plans. Right. Okay. So that doesn't. Excellent. And the whole time while I'm doing this stuff, I'm muttering to myself different things, and I'm flitting between speaking in common, gnomish, and celestial, flitting between the three, just muttering things like, that didn't work. Oh, that did work. I wonder what happens. So that's what the room's like. I wonder if I can, and things like that. And then, is there anything else in the room? Is it completely spotless?
It's pretty sparse. You can make me what you can tell me what you're trying to find.
Basically, I want to know if I can find something to scratch with, etch with, make notes with, or anything like that.
Make me an investigation or intelligence.
Well, which one? Not that it matters. It was a terrible roll.
Okay.
It was 5.
It was 5.
Where are we? Investigation. So 9 with investigation. Or what was the other one? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that or just straight up adding your intelligence modifier.
All right, yeah. Then 9.
There doesn't appear to be anything that you can scratch with. I mean, it occurs to you that you could probably try to take the bucket and try to scratch on the wall with the bottom, but it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's what I was curious, because obviously this is probably different material than we're used to anyway, isn't it?
So this is you have a feel of the stone. It does seem to be quite soft. You think if you had something, just a little bit sharper than your own fingernail, you could be able to scratch very easily into this.
Okay. All right. All right. And again, I'm going to carry on muttering myself, and then I'm going to go over to. You say there's a mattress.
There is a mattress.
All right. I'm going to start pulling the mattress apart and seeing what it's made of.
Sure. You go ahead and pull this mattress apart. You can find inside there is a lot of down. It's feathers.
Okay. Cool.
Pick this up. Yep.
All right. I'm going to be like, again, I'm going to be like, muttering to myself. Although it's muttering, I'm making it obviously loud enough so that people can hear me, but it's not as loud as he was.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Amazing. So the way this is going to work is we're going to go into some one-on-one interviews, essentially. But first, I think that's a good place for a break.
Yeah. Why is tense?
Here we go.
Everybody, so we'll go for a break now and come back at 1:30.
Come back at 1:30.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
cool.
Amazing.
See you shortly.
See you shortly.
Thank you, everyone. And we're back. Thanks, everybody, for rejoining us for the second half of our episode. The heroes find themselves inside the depths of Wardell Carr, the floating prison island of the Grey Orthodoxy. And we are going to start ourselves off. I might as well roll a dice to see who goes first. Might as well.
Before it's decided who goes in first, can I have been having Alice Fiend do one little thing during this time?
Absolutely.
So when he'll got in initially, he'll have spent. So how long have we been in ourselves for?
It's now been 3 hours.
3 hours. So for about the first hour, he'll have been sort of trying to calm himself down. Essentially, sort of speaking mostly in Undercommon. But sort of talking to himself out loud, saying, just reminding himself that he's been in situations worse than this. So when he got in, he oh, hang on. Did you just unmute yourself? No? Okay. Sorry, I heard an echo of my own voice there. Yeah, so reminding himself he's been in situations worse than this. He's got out of situations worse than this. And just that he'll always regain control some way. When he's sort of calmed himself down enough, after about an hour or so, that's when he'll start sort of actually paying attention to the room, and he'll notice the bucket, he'll notice the mattress, and so on. He'll then, he'll feel the walls, and you describe the walls as being kind of almost like a soft rock, nearly.
Yeah, it's kind of limestone-y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll lift the bucket, assuming the bucket's like a metal bucket,
Yeah.
and he'll swing the bucket at the wall.
Swing the bucket at the wall. Very cool. You swing the bucket at the wall, and it's a little mark. It's a little dent in the stone.
He'll look more specifically at, did any little bits of rock, any little crumbles of this stone fall to the ground?
You swing a couple more times, and a couple tiny little bits of stone fall to the ground.
Okay. He will swing enough times to sort of create a little sort of a small pile of these rocks on the ground.
To be fair, these are like the size of a thumbnail.
Oh, okay. Then yeah. A couple of them chunks is enough.
Mm-hmm.
He'll then take the bucket. I take it's like a flat bottom bucket.
Yep.
And he'll start grinding these rocks in the ground. He'll just start set the bucket on it and start twisting it to grind it into almost like a fine sand.
Yeah.
And what he's wearing, does it have pockets or anything?
I'm gonna say you got a couple pockets, and it's just your underclothes, right? So it's casual wear. You'd have 2 pockets.
Okay. So yeah, he'll just essentially grab, as much of this when he's grinded up to as fine as he can get it. So it's like a really fine, dusty, sandy sort of substance, and he'll just sort of shovel that into his pocket. He'll put some of it in one pocket and some of it in the other. And once he's done that, he will he'll go back into the middle of the room, and he'll go into that elven trance, that semi-conscious meditative state.
Very cool. Okay. We're gonna do Nesmi first.
Yes.
There is a. Forgive me 1 second while I find.
I'm squaring up for a fight.
You square up for a fight.
Makes yourself look big.
Yeah.
Puffing all your fur up.
I am tall mouse.
Tall and proud, and no one will take that from you.
She's become Mighty Mouse.
Absolutely. There is a again one of these very tall, bald-headed, no exterior-eared people. A man who comes over to your cell, wearing the robe, wearing the robes, gray robes of the Grey Orthodoxy. Grabs a stool from somewhere beside your cell, out of sight. Sits in front of you. Motions that the guard move off a little bit. Okay, so you're not from Kelip K. Where are you? I've been told by Hanoa, the High Warden, that you are that you had some strange excuse as to why you were with the rest of these Sygalians, and apparently got hired by Sophia Armstrong in a method not through the Orthodoxy. We have no paperwork of any such transfer. So, start with the easy question. Who are you?
I'm not answering anything until I get my things back.
Right. So, this is the way prison works. You're in prison, you don't get your things back, and you answer our questions. Right?
I'm not answering any questions until I get my things back.
All right. I'll get Vala to have a look at you. I don't have the patience for this myself. Enjoy the cell. Gets up, puts a stool away, and leaves. You wait maybe another hour, and the Dreltar woman who you saw before comes over to the cell. She goes, all right, so, sits on the same stool, does the same kind of motion. It seems like there's a sort of formality to talking to prisoners that seems to be ritually observed by everybody who does it. She says, all right, I understand that prison is not conducive to whatever your plans are. Now, this person has a passive detect thoughts effect, so you can say whatever you will, but also whatever it is you're thinking when she asks questions, she is going to be able to read off of you, essentially. So she says, yeah, Tizam says that you are not willing to talk. Thankfully, that is what part of my job as an inquisitor hired by the Orthodoxy involves. So, let's start again. Nezumi, who are you?
I'm not answering any questions until I get my things back.
Through your mind, as she asks the question, very briefly, your own name flickers in your thoughts. She nods. Says, are you of Volpicar or are you Sygalian?
I'm not answering any more questions until I get my things back.
Once again, little nod. Looks at you. Goes, are you a known cleric or are you a spellcaster of any kind?
I'm not answering any questions until I get my things back.
I can see a pattern here.
Yeah, I assume that generally, like, emotionally, just getting more and more annoyed with this whole situation.
After that question, if she asks another one, I go into the farthest corner in the room, turn my back to her, and sit in the "don't talk me, I Angie" pose.
She does. She starts to ask you another question, and she says, "What is your affiliation with Pelor and his follower?" Oh, okay.
I also cover my ears. I'm not listening.
You cover your ears. She nods to one of these other guards to come back. She writes a little note on a piece of paper, folds it up, doesn't have eyes, so isn't really looking at you, but so kind of makes it, these people have very difficult faces to read without eyes. But
well, I'm not even really looking at this point, so it doesn't really matter.
She goes ahead and leaves you alone. Easy, painless. Everyone else is going to be just the same.
Nah.
Is it though?
Alice Fane. Somebody comes to your cell. This is a average height man. Does the same thing. Takes a stool, sits in front of your cell, waits for the guard to go a little ways away. This person looks like they've got the half-pointed ears of a half-elf. One half of their face and body is charcoal black with little white splotches, and the other side is a deep brown, more human. They've got a special, fleck of white over his eye on one side, and where that white goes over his eye, that eye is clear white. His other eye is brown. Okay. This person is also wearing clothing more similar to what Hanuma was wearing. Is kind of more pantaloons and shirt with blue flowing tassels on them. He has 3 rings on one hand with little chains that go between them. Doesn't seem to have a staff or anything like that. And he says, all right. First, let me apologize for the situation you find yourself in. You understand we cannot let your people just wander our land without knowing where you are and what you intend to do, yes?
Alasvin doesn't budge from his trance.
My name is Brenial Amakir. I'm in charge of the area around Balmoral. I'm one of the High Wardens. Sophia may have mentioned me if you were staying with her. Okay. Listen,
A slaver?
We are not slavers. We are not slavers. We are dealing with an extraordinary situation. People from another world.
Not slavers, you say?
No.
Yet, in your first interaction with beings that you are unfamiliar with, your first thought is to take them into captivity? But you say you are not slavers?
We are the government. We are in charge of looking after our people and their well-being.
And you think a people has never enslaved another person or another group of people simply in the claims that they are protecting?
Of course, I'm sure before the Sundering War, or perhaps on Sygalia, this was a common thing. I know from my own experience in the war, where I got this. He points at his own eye, says, the forces of Seriphiel enslaved many. They enslaved me. They forced me to work in their war and fight for them. Many of us are the same.
You are not the only one whose sight suffered at the hands of others. And Alisfian just pushes the bandage that's like across his head, across his eye. He just pushes it up to show literally an empty eye socket. And he just says, except mine came from the last person that kept me in chains as you have. Would you like to know how much blood of theirs I spilled that night when I finally escaped?
I imagine just about the same amount as the blood I spilled when I escaped. I understand.
And yet you sit here, out there, and look in, as you leave me where I have been before and where you have been. And you say that you are protecting?
I will not compel you to do anything.
He just holds his hand up and just goes back into trance and just...
Person,
taking my bat and my ball and I'm going in.
This person sits in front of you and says a few words in Elvish to the guard. He says, I am going to stay here for a while. Tell Carpe Fia and Tenua that this is my duty here. And my research can wait. Besides, it's been too long since I arrested. Soldier nods, goes off. He sits before you and enters a trance. We're going to cut away, and we're going to go along to who are we going to go to next? We're going to go to the surgeon. Surgeon, Valakal comes to visit you.
Valakal is the one without the eyes.
Yes.
As she enters the room, I'm facing away from the door, and I'm sitting down, or not in a meditative state, but I'm sitting down with my legs crossed.
Hello, surgeon.
Hello, you startled me. How are we?
Oh, better for seeing you again.
Excellent. I'm actually quite glad you came in and not anybody else.
Well, I was wanting to talk to you about that. Do you know how difficult it was for me to get rid of that sword that you were carrying with the mark of Derafel? How many questions that was going to raise?
I'm very interested to see why you're helping me there. Honestly, you can read my mind all you want. I picked it up because I thought, well, it's a sword.
Oh, I know that. But these people, oh my goodness me. If they knew they knew who you really are, there is nothing that would save you.
I fully understand, hence why I'd want you to come in here, not them. I don't want to startle anyone.
And startle them you very much would. The truth of the matter is, Surgeon, I don't want you to die. It is part of my job to help and find and capture the people who are deemed enemies by the Grey Orthodoxy, but that does not mean that I want to see harm done to people. I can sense you have done nothing wrong since you have come to Volpakar.
I like the "since you've come to Volpakar" part. That really nails it on the head, doesn't it? Excellent. And I'm very appreciative of your look. It's very comfortable.
Oh, you don't. I got a sense of this. None of you have seen Dreltar before. There are no Dreltar on Sygalia.
No.
Fascinating. I would love to hear more about your world and about you, about how you came to be here. What is it like to live in a society where there are so many gods?
I would love to talk to you about that. However, I'm fairly parched. Is there any way you could bring a drink of some description? I'm happy to talk to you and detect thoughts. He's happy to talk to you. He just wants a drink. And bring yourself in one as well. Let's make a thing about it. There's a subtle undertone though of he just wants you to be in there with him. He feels very comfortable with you being there with him.
Vala asks the guard to go away and get your meal slightly earlier than they were going to make it, and bring a couple of drinks, and he goes away. And she says, you know, I knew a tiefling once.
Interesting.
Not like you, one of ours. He was terrifying, terrible, and served Darafel fanatically. My people suffered an awful lot under him during the war. But he had a son. And one day his son decided to run out in the streets among the Dreltar. This was in Felgora before the fall. And who did he bump into but me? And I felt his mind, this little boy. And he was just a little boy. Nobody else understood. My friends and members of my clan tore the little boy to pieces. And horrible vengeance was wrought on our village by his father, and everyone was proven right in their cycle of hatred. So, I can read your mind. It's only fair you get an insight into mine.
Then I don't need to answer any questions.
There are some things I do need to ask.
Oh, interesting.
Say that I've asked them.
To say that you've asked them, so you can appease your god, if that makes sense.
They're not They're not gods.
You
They're
all serve
my employers. They're my
serve
employers.
someone. So they hire you particularly.
They hire me particularly for
your
my
particular set of skills.
Indeed.
Interesting.
I'm an inquisitor. Some of the reeves of the various towns and cities hire some of my people. When they do, they're called corpse speakers, mostly as detectives. But for the Grey Orthodoxy, we're inquisitors. I've been working for Henoa up at Wordle Glacus for it's coming on 15 years now. Anyway, first I need to ask, how long have you been in Volpukar?
Not long.
You were part of the second party who came. To the best of your knowledge, no others have come?
To the best of my knowledge.
To the best of your knowledge. You were hand-selected for this mission. Who by?
Interesting. It's interesting you say that. I'm unsure myself.
Okay.
If personally I've gone without will, but
so
I'm here.
So you were forced into this mission against your will?
To a degree.
To a degree.
Hmm.
All right.
I was offered something that I cannot refuse. Not a threat, not a bribe.
She gets a little bit of a glimpse of the queen saying a wish spell.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking at you and nodding. I was like, no, would you say, what if you were out there, how many people would you be killing to achieve your goals?
What do you mean?
We weren't. I can't say.
I'm slightly confused. He's not confused.
He's not confused.
No.
He's
interested to see what the question is, but he's not confused.
She kind of gives you a little nod. Says, "Tell me about the nature of your magic."
Interesting. And there's an insight to what the magic is. It's not something. It's something that's been learnt and not been given to me. So that's what I give you. But I say it's interesting.
So you're like these guys. You're a wizard. You're a mage.
I learned my trade myself.
You learned your trade yourself. Well, thanks for being cooperative. It will help me keep
them. Make a decision. I'll keep them.
It'll keep them off of your back.
I'm interested to see why you're helping me.
I don't know if I can keep you around, but for as long as I can, I don't think you deserve to die just because of who you were born as.
I appreciate that, and it kind of gives you the same feeling of when that appreciation between two sides, like a kind of, oh yeah, I appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah. food arrives, drink arrives, food's passed through the bars to you. Water in a cup. She drinks with you. And you guys can keep talking about whatever you would like to talk about. She stops asking pertinent questions about why you're here and just wants to engage in conversation.
Excellent.
Fantastic. I'm going to roll something. Thano, we're going to cut over to you.
Okay.
It's been 4 hours. 4.5 hours. When you hear marching outside of your cell. Approaching are 4 knights and 6 mages. And at the head is Hanua, who leads them. They are dragging with them, clapped in chains, which the 4 guards hold. What's it, the worthless?
Of course. La 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 la.
One of them is looking very agitated. Henua does the ritual. She pulls out a stool. The others are behind her. You could clearly see what's it is. You two can see each other through the bars.
I just kind of grin and giving him a thumbs up.
Absolutely got a smile on his face because he knows everything that he's trying to do is working.
Everything he's doing is working. Henua grits her teeth. And says to you notice something, both of you, Thano and what's it? These people used to be wearing gray. They're not wearing gray anymore. They're now wearing silver. Same kind of clothing, but silver, and there is a tiny insignia over their breast. The insignia, it looks like 3 scales, kind of dragon-like scales over the breast. And she says, right, here we are. Thano, you're going to answer some questions of mine. The rest of your friends have been a little bit less than forthcoming with us, shall we say. I'm going to... I'm going to make things very unpleasant for your friend if you don't answer my very, very simple questions.
Can I hear this?
Yes, this is all out in the open.
Yeah, it's going. You ain't got to worry about me, Thano. I could do this all day long.
So she has her staff still in her hand. She taps her staff on the ground. I'm gonna need you to make to make a Constitution saving throw for me. DC 18.
Yeah, that was 16 plus Constitution, so it's 19.
19 is going to do it. You are going to take half damage. So that's 5, half to 2. So you feel your
because I took damage obviously after the fight while we got here.
Yeah.
Would I have taken a short rest? Probably not if I was doing everything I could to annoy people.
Yeah, we're gonna say you didn't take a short rest and instead annoyed the heck out of these people. So yes, you take 2 lightning damage as power courses down the chains into your arms. You're seized with pain.
Yeah, I will put my tone. Make it slightly louder.
Make it slightly louder.
So the really annoying song, I'll just make it slightly louder.
Fantastic. You do this. We're gonna cut away very briefly to Alice Fane. Alice Fane, we're going to say it's been about an hour and a half since you started the trance. Has anything changed in the situation? Over the first, 45 minutes, would anything have changed?
After about another half an hour of sitting in the trance, without moving, keeping his eyes closed, he'll just speak. He'll just say, "How long are you going to sit there?"
Brenial Amakir, also with his eyes closed, says, "As long as I need to."
And what defines that?
I need to be able to tell the Exalted Wardens what it is you're doing here. And when I can do that, pending their decision, you will be sent home to Sygalia, unharmed and free.
So you're telling me that you need to return to your masters with what they want, and what they want is to know why we visit your land?
That's right. There are some specific questions they have asked me to ask of you.
Then ask away. I have nothing to hide.
The first question he is going to ask is, who housed you when you were running from the Faceless Hunter? Who housed you? We're gonna, in tandem, as he's asking this question of Alice Fane, Henwa is asking this question of Thano.
Okay, I sit there and go, oh, well, I can tell you one thing I know. I know a song that can get on your nerves.
Yeah.
And I go into a round of chanting, I know a song that can get on your nerves.
And I think when he finishes his sentence, and we'll do it so we're
in a round,
like the staggered song.
Yeah, start singing in the round.
Yeah.
Alice Fane, what do you respond? What we'll do is we'll do the replies and then we'll do the questions and then
Okay. So when asked, he sort of, again, still in that sort of trance, but a lot calmer now. He's not in as much of an obviously panicked state at this point. He just, they are nothing to me. The orphan mother.
The orphan mother. Sophia Armstrong, is that who you speak of?
I didn't care enough to learn her name.
He nods, makes a little note on a piece of paper. In front of Thano, Henua taps her staff on the ground. What's it? I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Natural 1. You take 15 points of damage.
Oh.
In some ways, I'm glad Warding Bond is no longer active.
Yes. So,
Josh,
is it that point? Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, can you clarify? Is it all magic doesn't work, or is it just divine magic? Does arcane magic work?
You can try to you're not in an anti-magic field, so you can try to do magic if you like.
I'd like to see if I can cast message.
You feel that you try to do the spell and the spell does not work. Does not feel like it's been suppressed. Doesn't feel like just feels like it does not work. If you would like to make an arcana check to find out why, you may do so.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. The specific details of how.
25.
So natural 20. I'm going to take a brief moment to go over some very technical rules. In rules as written in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, there are verbal, somatic, and material components to spellcasting.
That's right.
Spells that have a material component that do not cost gold can be substituted for an arcane focus. Right? You know already that, and as well, only one spell can be cast per turn, unless it's a cantrip and then a bonus action spell. On Vulpikar, you know that you can cast cantrip as a bonus action. You also know that you do not need any material components for any spells, regardless of cost. The flip side of that is without an arcane focus, you cannot cast spells of any kind. With a natural 20, I will tell you that creating an arcane focus in Vulpikar is a very easy thing to do. You would need something approximating a wand or an amulet or a ring or something, or a gem, something with which to focus magic through. But you do not currently have something like that. So that's the rules out of the way. Natural 20 gets you all of the information on that. Your spell does not work. Your friend is in pain. We're going to move on to question number 2.
What's it at that point with that coming out? He actually changes the actual. He goes quite loud, but stops the "I know a song that's getting on my nerves," and just starts laughing at the bottom of his voice, just going. And he looks at Thano, and this is a change you've only seen this look on his face once before, and he does look worried, but comfortable, and he just says. Grumsh, 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 and it's just tone.
And I'll match his tone and rhythm.
You'll match his tone and rhythm. She is going to ask of you. She's going to say, Where are Riodon Athronus and Aegeus Rothanel, the other members of the other Sygalians of your world? Alice Fane, Breniel Amakir, I need to ask you where your accomplices are, if you've heard of them. The High Clerics, Riodon Athronus and Aegeus Rothanel. Do you know where they could be at this moment?
I have never even met them. I would not know them from Adam.
Please, have you heard where they are?
There was something mentioned, but truth be told, I didn't really listen.
Thano, I assume you just keep chanting as well.
Grog. Grog.
Yeah, but if they go to cast another spell, or do another staff, which is worked out, which is what's obviously causing this harm, he'll stop, but it will say, and just again look at Thano, and the look on his face will change, and we'll just say, it's okay, and I know where I'm going, and I'm comfortable. And it says, and because I'm not bound by anything at the moment, am I?
You have chains on your wrists and feet.
Then, as with every single bit of his might and everything that he actually has in him, is going to try and break his chains. Am I chained to a wall?
You're not chained to a wall. These are people holding chains. Go ahead and make a contested strength roll against these people.
We'll be saying it this time. I'm coming, Grumsh. Put the kettle on.
Oh, not good on my end.
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, 18's gonna do it. You wrench free, and for a moment, gloriously start to cause mayhem amongst these people whipping these chains about.
Orc frenzy.
Henua keeps looking Thano straight in the eye. Just looking at you in the eyes as the people behind her cast spells to subdue One of them rams him through with a sword. A couple of others, run him through as well. You, I believe, have an ability which can keep you up beyond 0 hit points.
Yeah, just keeps me to 1 round.
Keeps you 1 round.
I get to 1 hit point, basically.
You see roar with rage. He is working with all his might to tell these people to F off as he goes. These people remove their swords from his body, resume holding him in chains. You see the wounds on his chest close up. Hanua, still looking at you. You are hit with a power word, pain. What's it? You are 1 hit point. You have disadvantage on pretty much everything. And you are racked with pain. You cannot speak. You cannot sing or sneer. Your entire being is consumed with how much pain you are in. She looks at you, Thano. Did you think I was going to give him the release of death? Did you think I was going to let him go while you were chanting for your heretic god? No. Thano, I can keep him like this for days. Right here, in agonizing pain on the threshold of death. So you are going to answer my questions, or you're going to watch him suffer. Tell me, where are the others?
Right, I'm going to roll for my reaction. I think it's the fairest way. I'm going to do it in your bands where you do 20 to 15 down to see how I react.
Okay.
4. I just say grumsh.
You say grumsh. She nods. I can respect that decision, Thano. a lesser man would have broken. I appreciate that. She gets up, she turns around, and she stabs her spear up through What's-Its skull. What's-It, you are dead.
Oh!
Wow. I will make it past the 4th. What's-It one day? We'll make it past the 4th. Woo!
It's always gruesome. I'm not sure he'll ever make it past 4th.
No. Woo!
I believe last time he was disemboweled by a massive axe.
It's good.
Sorry, it was a dice roll.
It's good. There is no better way for him to go. There's no better way for him to go.
Can I hear all of this the whole time
No.
this was going on? Right, okay.
None of this.
Right.
No. Nobody else has heard this. What's-Its body falls to the ground. Turns to you, Thano. Says, okay. Now you get to decide who goes next.
If you bring back What's-It, I'll tell you what you want. Otherwise, it'll be me.
If I bring back your friend, you'll talk?
I'll tell you what I know.
You answer one question of mine, and your friend, I'll bring him back. Tell me where the others are.
No, please. I'm having bad images in my head. I'm having...
We never met them. We don't know where they went.
And you heard no word of where they are now. Think very carefully about how you answer.
I'm new to this world. I don't know where anywhere is.
She and her people leave. What's-It is dead in front of you.
I
How does Thano?
crawl over to What's-It and cuddle him.
He's on the other side of the bars. You can't.
Oh,
reach
okay. They didn't bring him in. All right.
No.
Can I reach through the bars?
You can try to reach through the bars. You can almost just about reach his hand if you go through the bars.
I'll just lie there then.
Tickling his palm.
What's-It is gone.
No, baby, please, no.
I'm just going to get a drink. I'll be back.
Very cool. Right. Let's move on. Tolton, a gnome comes and brings you food.
Okay.
She looks like an artificer. Her head is covered in grease. She doesn't have a mechanical companion with her, but she is just covered in gear from head to toe. Wipes some sweat off of her forehead. She's got these same kind of blue floating tassels that you can see around her equipment. And she goes, right, I brought you some food. I was hoping, I was hoping they to know if they have treated you all right.
There's obvious cuts and dry blood on my face, so I'm just going to point it out and go, no.
Look, I'm so sorry. Henwa can be a little bit extreme at times,
No,
but she
stupid.
means well. She means
she
well.
doesn't.
She really does.
She doesn't.
No,
She was
you
rude.
don't.
No, listen, she was rude. She refused the opportunity to talk initially, and it was only after she instigated an engagement and had force pushed back, that she realised that we weren't going to just give up, and that was when she listened to reason.
Well, look, she's under strict instructions from the exalted wardens that she's not allowed to kill anybody without due cause. So
But that was her fault. No. That was her.
I'm sure that she might have
first
roughed you up a little bit, but she never would have. She never.
No, she
would
didn't.
Have
She
killed
didn't.
anybody.
She didn't. She didn't rough us up. She instigated a fight. And then when she realised it wasn't going her way, she decided to backtrack. After being offered the opportunity to talk to start with.
Well, I can only apologise for her.
But that's no way to make, meet new travellers, is it? It's no way to make how you treat a guest, is it?
Isn't it? Well, we don't have a lot of travellers from other worlds, so we're
It
kind
doesn't
of
matter
making
where.
up as
Yeah,
we
but it doesn't
go.
matter where you're from. That's no way you treat a guest. If it's somebody you don't know, that is not you don't meet somebody for the first time at the tip of your sword unless you're intending to go to war.
One time, the first time I met somebody, I took a buzzsaw to his skull.
But there must have been a reason for that.
Well, yeah, he was a tiefling. So
I have no problem with tieflings. They're common on our world.
well, not many people are gonna like you saying that. It makes all the more reason that it's good that we will be getting rid of all of you and send you back to the hell.
Not a lot of people like it when I say this as well, and then I start, just basically recite the alphabet in Celestial, and I go, they don't like that either.
Holy crap! You speak the language of the Seraphs.
It's just a language. It's only a word.
Jeez.
And then in Gnomish, I go, no different to this.
Also in Gnomish, she says, "Well, it's a wee bit different from this. Language
really.
is
It's just a
language of oppression. Celestial is the a language a lot of people associate with slavery and mass murder. So,
yeah, but that's only here. That's not everywhere.
Look, we've got enough of our own problems without worrying about everywhere else. If there are other planets, why shouldn't they just leave well enough alone?
I don't know. We was tasked to come here to go and get them, to bring them back. That's all we were doing. That's all we're here for.
Fingers crossed, we'll send you home and everyone will be happy.
What, just us?
No, all of you. I mean, Perennial is working on whatever he's working on with the big boy. But,
well, you're obviously doing something to him because he's locked away out there.
Well, yeah, we couldn't have him wandering around, could we?
Why?
Did you see? My God, when we told him we were going to have to take him in, he blew up half the forest. It was insane.
Right, let's just rewind a minute. Look at how you treated a tiefling. Is that any different?
Is that any different from what?
So when you turn around to somebody and say, you're going to have to be brought in.
Well, yeah, because I took a buzzsaw to his head instead of bringing him in.
Yeah, but do you see but the reaction is the same, isn't it? When you're trying to force somebody to do something against their will, 9 times out of 10, they're going to react in likewise manner, which is all we did earlier.
Well,
if you show force, people 9 times out of 10 will meet that force with a force of their own. If you show an open hand, quite often people will greet that open hand with the same. Clearly, too many people treat it. Yeah, I did.
See, that never would have occurred to me. If people want to respond violently to the law that we have helped to impose to keep everybody safe, then they pretty much deserve to go to prison, don't they?
But if somebody doesn't know of that law, is it right to put them in prison if they don't know?
Well, then our whole thing was we were going to bring you here and question you, clear everything up, and then, we'll take it from there. Better to get to know one another, get to know our laws.
That's what I tried to do. But that is what I tried to do.
Well,
and she
succeeded.
didn't. No, she didn't.
You're here. You're
succeeded
alive,
by having
you're
everything
in
taken
prison.
off of us, by having all of our armor and
everything
equipment
was taken off of you. We don't know what kind of stuff you have.
I'm looking around, right? And I'm looking at everything that's here. I'm going to go, Do you honestly think that we would instigate a fight in the middle of here, surrounded like this?
I mean, you could, but you'd die.
Exactly. So why would we do it? We wouldn't have.
Well,
again, I'll go
well,
back
you
to my first
you never
point.
would have made it into Wardell Car, where we keep a god as a prisoner, if we hadn't brought you here as a prisoner.
You'd be surprised what people are capable of. You, of all people, should understand
That is what we're worried about. We don't want to be surprised by what people are capable of.
But there was nothing. I was not gonna. None of the group would have.
Talking me around in circles. Look, usually a guard would come here and ask you this, but I wanted to come and ask you something because I heard that there aren't artificers on Sygalia, but that you had
There aren't many.
You have machinery.
Yeah, there aren't many.
Not many. Like,
it's a new thing.
It's a new thing, and you came up with one of the prototype.
Yes.
Robotics.
Yes.
That is absolutely amazing. Like, it. Look, when all of this is sorted out, like you don't worship any gods yourself, do you?
As I was going to say, believe it or not, I don't follow a deity. Probably like yourself, I believe in the tools and the equipment, and that's how we make our things work. I don't I wouldn't call it magic. I'd call it engineering. I'm not here because I worship any of these gods. I'm here just because I was tasked, along with everybody else, to get them home.
Very cool. Oh, that's great. That was one of the questions that the other ones were gonna ask your friends. Great. I'll write that up in a report or whatever.
So does that mean we can go then?
Well, we'll clear it with the top brass, as it were.
All of us.
Well, I don't know how the other people are faring. How cooperative?
No, I'm talking about Pelor and everybody else that came through the first time.
Pelor, well, yeah. Again, I'm not really privy to what's going on Brennial's side of things, but the Exalted Wardens have it all figured out, I'm sure.
Well, I was told to meet with, and he scratches his beard a little bit, and he's like, did you say Brenigal Amakir? I believe it was, or something.
Brenial Amakir.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, we was meant to be meeting with this person anyway.
Right. Well, that will be because you were captured in Balmoral, and Balmoral's part of his region that he looks after most of the time. With how busy everything's been, he hasn't really had time to be doing a lot of the administrative stuff. So Henna was kind of taken over on that front. I don't know if he's got time. Although I didn't see him in his offices earlier. I wonder where he's gone.
I'm curious though. The materials you use here are very different to what we have back home on Sagalia. Would it be possible to maybe just have a look at some of this stuff and just to see how it works and things? Because obviously your technology is completely different to ours. Our engineering feats, as you've discovered, I'm one of a few. So and the faceless hunters, how they work and things like that. I'm very interested in that.
I got ours back, and there was a little face that was drawn on it. I thought that was hilarious. Me and a couple of the lads had a very
that was one of the orcs that you're half orcs, aren't you? Just to double check, you're not full orcs. You're half orcs, aren't you?
Half orcs, yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the half orcs.
Half orcs.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Half orc. They're like half orc and half.
We don't. Who are you talking about?
The other two that came with us. The green-skinned ones that came with us.
Only 4 of you came through.
No, there was 2 half orcs as well.
I don't know what you're talking about. So sorry, but whoever did put that face on there, that's yeah, that was.
There was a symbol on the chest at one point as well. I kind of smeared that off a little bit because I didn't think you'd take too kindly to that. It was an eye.
Right, because we know a little bit about Sygalia already, and we know that that's one of the marks of a god. So that was.
So I took that off just to alleviate any. There's the difference, you see. As I said, I came here in a peaceful manner. It wasn't me that instigated the conflict. It was your side.
Well, look, regardless of what happens to everyone else, you seem like a reasonable chap and a straightforward guy. We could always use another artificer helping us maintain
I may well be interested in that.
Prisons. So, sure.
Sorry,
now,
say that again. Working in our prisons.
Yeah, helping to maintain the prisons of the primordials and the gods.
So there's more here than just our god, Pelor.
Well, yeah, there's Seriphiel and Derifel.
Oh yeah, that's what. Yeah, but there's more than just the ones that came through from Sygalia.
Right, we had our own first, and then you guys came and brought another one, and we were like, "No, thank you, we don't want that."
So, is there anybody else to talk to then? Because obviously, like you've just said, you don't have all of the answers. I appreciate you coming here. Thank you. No, no rudeness intended. But obviously,
of course, I get that it's going to be hard to first impressions under these circumstances are going to be tricky. But I really appreciate how straightforward the guy you are. I'm going to put in a good word for you up the chain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the Exalted Wardens will be more than happy to get you on your way pretty soon.
As long as everybody else is coming, because I would consider it a personal insult if they're not.
Well, I don't want,
and I do mean
I don't want to
alive and
insult
well
you ahead
as
of time. I don't know what they'll decide. I'm sure everything will work out just fine. But I really can't say anything more. You said 2 more came with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'll double check. I'm sure I just missed it in the records. Why don't I double check? I'll go and see about that now.
Well, you can't miss them. They're great big green skinned people. They kind of stick out a little bit.
I don't see them on this ring. They're not on
this
floor.
And they are pretty loud. At least one of them is. He was singing earlier.
I did think I heard somebody singing. Beautiful dulcet tones he had.
Well, I don't know about that.
But
More
if he's
like
not on
gravelly.
this floor, if he's not on this floor, I don't know where he'd be. But I'll have a look. And she she goes, "Oh, right, you wanted to have a little look at some of our tech."
Yes, please.
Well, I really shouldn't give you like tech per se, but if you want a little bit of metal, and she goes into one of her little tool pouches and she brings out a little screw that is of a metal you do not recognize, tosses it through the bars, goes, "Have a little look at that. Do whatever."
Have you got something, a piece of paper and maybe a pencil that I can just write or draw on?
That's a good. Sure, you can have a pencil and a piece of paper. Dude, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting your name. She says to the guard. Guard's like, "It's Jeff. I've been working here for ages. I got transferred over like 6 months ago from Wardle Shale." She's like, right, of course, Jeff. How could I forget? I'm down on the 16th floor a lot of the time. He goes, yeah. I know you're very busy. Of course, yeah. It's like, yeah, of course. So, Jeff, could you get this man a pen and some paper, please? He goes, yeah, sure, I could do that. She goes, right, Tolton, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sorry, you didn't say your name. What was your name?
Oh, my name's Carpe Fiabrina. I'm a High Warden. One of the 3 High Wardens.
It must be very enjoyable, but must be full of pressure as well.
Well, it's a lot of work, let me tell you. And we were swamped with work before we had a 6th prison up and running.
A 6th? Why so many prisons if there's no conflict?
Well, we got to keep them prisoned. The 2 gods, the 3 primordials, and now Pelor, your sun god or whatever he calls himself. So 6 in total.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so we've all had to double our shifts. None of us are getting any sleep. I haven't slept for so long. It's crazy. This river
of energy that we see, is that like an arcane energy or?
Oh yeah, that's pretty much pure source. You don't want to touch that.
I gathered as much.
Even with our best technology, we have up to 7 stabilization rings going at any given time just to make it flow where we want it to. To
channel it. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could you spell her name for me, please?
Carpathia Brina. I will send you after the session. I'll send you her name.
Okay, thank you.
She goes, right, I really do. I'll check on those. I'll check on.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
The records for your friends. Yeah. And she rushes off. We'll quickly finish up. Alice, the interview that Alice Fane was having. So, Alice Fane, you just finished saying that you really don't know where the others are.
Mm-hmm.
And Berniel's just been sitting with you going, okay. And you receive power from a god. Is that right?
I suppose that is how you could put it.
There's an external being from whom you draw your strength. It has come to our attention that you draw your strength in a different manner than how I see. Then the ones during the Sundering War who followed the Seraphs and the High Devils who followed the two gods, they received permanent boons from their gods. But for you, it seems to me your people, without the connection to the gods, your people lose their power. Have you begun to lose your power?
Yes.
I am going to show a sign of good faith to you. He pulls a ring off of his finger. It's a silver band with runes, slightly raised runes on it. He speaks a couple of words in a language you don't understand. The runes flare green and then calm down. And he says, this will not be enough for your voice to travel over there, but it may be enough for theirs to travel here. Flicks it to you.
I catch it.
Find peace, and thank you, Light Elf, for what you have said to me.
I slip the ring onto my finger, and I'm just like looking at the ring on my hand, and I say, perhaps there is one more exchange?
Tell me.
Well, when I came here, I had a particular item, a cat o' nine tails, a 9-barbed whip. It isn't really much good for, well, directly fighting, especially in a place like this, but it has more of a personal significance. Perhaps I have information that I could give you as, you say, a gesture of good faith, and perhaps you could return my cat o' nine tails to me. You can hold on to my sword, you can hold on to my crossbow. All I ask for is my whip.
This thing you ask of me is not so easy, huh?
I appreciate that.
I tell you what, I will go and I will confer with my fellow wardens, with Carpe Fia and with Hanoa, and we will discuss your offer. In the meantime, take solace and know this matter will be resolved with all swiftness that we can muster.
Thank you.
You will not, one way or the other, you will not be caged for long. You have my word.
A desire for freedom that I'm sure you of all people understand.
Of course. All right. He's gonna get up and take his leave. He looks weary, but a little bit more rested than he did before. He's gonna make his way away. Right. So, Surgeon, you've talked for a bit with Volakal, Tolton, everything that's happened with Carpathia. You've got this little screw. Thano, you're left with the body of what's it. Nezumi, things are relatively normal. Alice Vane, you have been given this ring, and as you put this ring on your finger, you can feel almost immediately, you can feel something that was lost return to you. There is a definite familiarity and a feeling, and you can almost hear whispers of a woman's voice in your ear.
Right.
For the sake of this, when you sleep, you are going to regain your spell slots.
Finally. It's been so long.
Fantastic. More time passes. Henua comes and visits Volakal and the surgeon. They're standing a little bit ways away. Vala stands up, goes over to Henua. They have whispered words together. Henua nods. Vala, okay, here's a roll. It's gonna happen. They're gonna roll contested initiatives against one another. Something bad is gonna happen. Okay. Roll me insight, Surgeon, into what happens next.
Oh, that's not good. That's 9.
9. You see Volakal turns towards you. Her expression a little bit unreadable. She begins to utter what you assume is your name. Surja! A spell hits her from behind. She doesn't look physically injured, but slumps forward. The one called Rima takes her and leads her away. Henua comes forward. She says, we have everything we need already. Every question we have asked, one of us has answered. One of your people have answered. And I appreciate how friendly you have become with Vala. Bless her little heart, she's not going to remember any of it. Listen, I've had this sneaking suspicion. Ever since I met you, it just got worse and worse. Vala kept wanting to be the one to go through your things. She leapt to your defense when I wanted to take off your mask. So,
would you like me to tell you the truth? I understand you would, before all of this happens and you unveil your plan or whatever action it is, like a villain would do. Is that correct? A villain would do the same. But let me finish. Through my things, if you were to bring them in or look at them outside, you will find a book. Correct?
We found the book.
Have you looked through it?
Briefly.
And do you understand it?
Not all of it.
That's a shame, because I don't either.
Interesting. We were going to put a lot of people towards figuring out what was in that book of yours.
I'd quite like to know as well.
We were hoping you could tell us what was in that book.
I found it.
So you didn't write it?
No, I did not write it, no. Unfortunately, the person who owned the book passed. That's nothing to do with me. They passed through whatever ill-gotten ways Sygalia had them through natural causes. I don't know. But I found the book.
Okay. All right. Why don't you take off your mask? Why? What is it?
Interesting. No, not now. No. No, not now. It's fine. It's fine. And I go into myself and I start to talk to myself and I turn around and I start to have a very quiet conversation in Infernal with myself.
He speaks the devil tongue. Speaks the devil tongue of Derafel.
I can't cast anything in here. One voice says to the other.
What's going on now? What's going on? Talk in a language we all understand.
And then I look at you, and I speak in Orcish to you this time, and I say, I don't know. I don't know what you understand.
Who understands what he's saying?
I don't understand this land. I come from a different land. You don't understand me. Why do you talk to me as if I'm evil? I don't come from here.
Somebody, while you were talking, cast a comprehend languages spell, so they got the last bit. Why do you talk as evil? Evil, you don't come from here. It's like, you question your own evilness.
Question. I'm not evil. And I take the mask off. So, me, I am me. And I point at myself and said, I have not only been graced with this presence, but me being white of pale skin, kissed by whomever deity decided to pluck me from existence and place me here. But that is Sygalia, not this desolate land. But do what you must. I take off my gloves. I put them down on the floor. I look you dead in the eye as I kneel.
She looks at her own hands and clasps them to her chest and begins to speak as though in prayer. She says, "We sat not idly by during the end times. It was our fate to die quietly in the war, but we would not. We would over them. We would prove ourselves over." And
can I just say one thing to really understand? Considering this isn't a prayer to some deity.
Yes.
Okay.
Not a prayer.
My last word said, what you're doing is succumb to some form of strange ideology.
Understand, devil. Understand, fiend.
You might understand some things, you don't understand a lot.
Wherever you think you're going. You're not. Wherever you think Darafel will bring you in the afterlife, whatever promises that he has made, whatever...
Darafel has lost! You have him! Why do you talk to me like this? You are stupid. You know nothing. Give me the knife, I'll do it myself, you pathetic piece of shit.
She's trembling. So much emotion built up inside of her. She looks at her hands. She says, Galikaral. Takes out a knife. Tosses it to you. Prove yourself different, Sygalian. Prove yourself braver than the rest.
And I cut my throat. And as I do, I switch back into my normal self, and then I start to gasp at my throat.
You change over and start to gasp. I need you to make your first death saving throw.
Okay.
As you bleed out.
Okay, bad.
Okay, that's 11.
That's 11. That's a success.
Yes.
Okay. For each death save you make, I am going to make a roll. The first roll is for Breniel Amakir. Okay. I need you to make your second death saving throw.
That's 6. That's a fail.
Fail. So one success, one fail.
Okay. On a fail, I'm not going to make a roll. I need you to make your third death saving throw.
A natural 1.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh, he passed the first one.
Just 2 fails.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ripperino, Chicorino.
These are your last moments. You are looking up into the eyes of somebody who is blind with rage, fanatical in her own twisted belief in killing anyone and anything to do with the gods. What are your last words?
I'm just gonna look at her dead in the eyes and say, you may have thought you have won, but you've lost.
Surgeon, you are fully dead.
Awesome.
Wow.
No, please.
And as the last light fades from your eyes, you see people in gray robes run forward, look at you, try to open the cage, try to kneel over you and resuscitate you, but they come just a minute too late. You pass away.
FYI, it probably would have gone down. He wouldn't have gone up. FYI. Just look at his background story.
Can we get an F in the chats?
And F in the chats, please.
You pass away. Where does the surgeon expect to go?
He wants to go to hell.
He wants to go to hell.
Yeah.
You
Go to heaven.
No.
he's standing at the gate.
You find yourself standing at the foot of a path that goes through goes through large gardens, a stream on one side, trees overhead. This place is full of greenery and peace and quiet.
Right.
Um,
Can I cast Firebolt continuously in rage? I don't like it here.
you find yourself with a whole body, completely intact. Is Weve here as well, or is it just you?
Depends where I am.
This place doesn't feel. What would precipitate Weve being with you?
If I was in hell,
in hell.
Weve would have taken over.
Oh, I see. So it is just you, as opposed to two people.
In that case, he probably would have reverted back to what he was, and take the mask off and just kind of realization, and he may walk off. I accept it.
So you walk down this garden path. You wanted very much to go to hell, and you walk down this garden path. As you walk, you're filled with a sense of peace. You can see, you can smell these flowers. You hear the trickle of the stream. Everything is very quiet. As you walk, slowly the color fades from the trees. You feel the crunch underfoot. You feel ash underfoot. Trees give way, but until you are walking on a path of barren ashes. There is a ruined palace in front of you, which used to be of white marble. It looks like it was burned and blasted. And before this palace, sitting before the destroyed gates, is a human man with looks like he has 4 arms and red eyes. And he says to you, Surgeon, was it?
Yes.
All right. I get you're not one of ours.
What?
I said, I get that you're not one of ours.
I understand I'm dead, but you can go into a bit more detail.
Usually, when people die on Vulpikar, they become part of my army.
You have to be joking.
I'm afraid not. People pass on, and I help them get where they need to go. For a long time, that meant serving with me. I don't see much of the point of that since, I'm in jail or whatever.
So why are you here?
Well, you weren't going to get home by yourself now, were you? I got just enough juice left to send you home. Where would you like to go?
I'm still dead, right?
You're still dead.
So, my real journey begins. I don't feel like I've learned as much as I'd like to, but... okay, let's start nice and simple. I look you dead in the eye. Send me to Avernus, please. That sounds wonderful.
Avernus it is. You see the broken gates of the palace. Reconstruct, slowly open, darkness and hellfire beyond. And he says, hey, surgeon, give him hell for me, all right?
I like what you did there. I hold up I hold up my hand. Thank you.
He takes your hand. He says, I feel like we really would have gotten on if you'd things have been different. But,
Well, if I get my way, I'll be back, hey?
I look forward to it. Huh?
I give you a high five, and then I skip in through the gates.
Skip in through the gates. You find yourself on the first layer of hell, back where you would have gone if you had died on Sygalia. The gates behind you close and disappear, and you begin the next chapter of your journey in the afterlife. That, I think, is the best place we could end the episode. So, we're going to call it there. Thanks everybody so much for tuning in to this.
Thank you. Definitely. Thank you very much, guys. We
slightly
do
different episode.
Josh, that was incredible.
It was
fantastic.
Oh,
Brilliant.
Thank you,
Really
guys.
good.
That was
Just trying to kill us all off. I know we said we don't mind making different characters. That doesn't mean you have to kill us all in one go.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, so obviously, Surgeon, we will work up a new character. Neil, we will work out what's going to happen next. And yeah, the adventure continues next time on the God Heist.
Bum, bum, bum.
Love you all.
Yeah, thank you for.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. And don't worry, I'm not going to total party kill everybody.
Yeah. No, what he's going to do is he's going to revolve it so that now we've got some new blood coming in. He'll kill off the old ones so that, it's a continual cycle.
2 was more than I thought was going to happen this time. So,
is there anything anyone wants to say before we end?
Just don't forget about the competition.
Yeah.
Another big thank you to everybody out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge thank you to everybody who continues to watch the show and sees it develop and sees the story unfold. And we really appreciate it. Share it with your friends, get other people to watch and enjoy and get in on the conversation.
It really helps.
Yeah. Again, you know, don't be shy in posting stuff, in asking questions, in getting things in the chat. And, you know, just a big thank you to everybody, not just the people that are subscribing and viewing, but also to those that are out there doing their bit for everybody else, to support everybody else, because that's what's so important at the moment.
Huge.
Great.
And any questions about the characters, obviously, ask Weve.
Even the dead ones.
Even the dead ones.
Especially the dead ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know they've already been talking about possible characters on the chat.
Yeah. So in theory, on Wednesday or Thursday, I'll probably still go ahead and do it. But I was doing What's It's backstory.
So let's give What's It his due. Let's for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, it'll explain everything that, you know, it might answer some of the questions as well. And it'll explain his, you know, phenomenally made armor.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yep. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Peace and love to you all. Bye.
See you later.
See you later.